episode 20 of the BDE Sports Talk podcast. My name is Bill, one of your hosts, along with co-hosts, the D and E in the BDE, as always, Dean and Eddie. Fellas, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing awesome, man.
Nice. So let's just get right into it and welcome our guest. She's back. She's a registered dietitian, nutritionist, fitness trainer, author of the book, The Best Darn Book About Nutrition and Health. Real estate, our cousin, avid Detroit sports fan. Detroit Dodie, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been a historical week in Michigan, so it's a special week to be on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it right before we got on, and about how it kind of lined up to be the perfect week to have you on. I know we've talked about having you on more often anyway. So with the Packers, and we'll get into that kind of family dynamic and Miggy and everything else, it just lined up perfectly. So
yes, yay.
So before we get started, as always, thank you for watching today's episode. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, pick up the plates if you want. And
Can we send a busser?
Yeah. We're gonna need someone to pick that up. Like, comment, subscribe, thank you. And let's get into today and this week. We're gonna start off with Miguel Cabrera. Over the weekend, last game in the majors, will take over a special assistant role in the front office, which will be kind of weird to see. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I know we've talked about it before with Miggy and how it kind of came up quick. You know, it feels like we were just talking about, like, you know, he's got half a season left and now it's done, just like that. Dodie, just wanted to get your thoughts on Miguel retiring. I know you've watched a lot of Tigers games. If it was emotional for you on Sunday, those types of things.
Yes, it was. All weekend was emotional. I had tears in my eyes, definitely. I knew I was going to. So I watched Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I saw him, like, I know he wanted to wear those shades because I know he had tears in his eyes too. And I just, when they did the crowd had the, little cards, that spelled the Gracias Miggy and 24 and the D, and then Simply the Best, Tina Turner comes on, like, that was, oh my gosh, like chills, goosebumps, hair on the back of my neck stood up. I changed the ringer on my phone to be Simply the Best because it was just like, yeah, for real. Like, it was so special. Really a neat weekend. I would have loved to have been there.
I know I had asked Dean earlier that week if we should go to the game, and it's a Sunday. Especially a game like that, you probably won't get back home till late. And I did get the funny thing is, I missed the first half of the game. I just completely spaced on it. And then halfway through, I was like, oh man, I got to catch this. And of course, it was his last at bat where Punk moved, walking him on 4 straight, by the way.
Oh,
really?
Strike,
man.
Dude, it wouldn't.
Let
There
him
was not
swing.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
yeah. His last at bat was walked on 4 straight balls, and I'm like, you didn't even come close to
Throw
giving
him
him
3
a strike.
fastballs.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? I mean, nobody's
Yeah.
playing for anything at that point.
I know. Neither team. Did you guys see when he first got off the bat on Sunday or here? His kids announced him.
I did see a
saw
clip
that.
of it. Yeah, that was super cool.
Man.
I thought he was gonna break down right then.
Right?
So
Yeah, no
cute.
kidding. I almost
It
broke
was
down.
nice.
but Matt,
Honestly.
like, couldn't have asked for a better ending. When they put him out at first, I thought he was actually going to be there the whole inning, and then when he had that first put out for the first out, I was like, oh, how poetic is that? Your last play is a place you haven't played. I don't think he's played there since like 2019 or something like that.
It's
Yeah.
been a minute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was super cool, and then they pulled him out, and that's when I was like, man, that's it. That it kind of went by so quickly. Eddie, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, not a whole lot to say, you know. I mean, other than thank you for the memories, man. I mean, what a ride. Honestly, it stinks that we never got that title with him. We had some really good teams. And with him being a centerpiece and a hitting lineup on amazing teams, it's like, how do you not make it happen? It just didn't. That's baseball. That's sports. It is what it is, man. Kudos to him, honestly, for sticking with us through some of those years. I mean, he probably could have went and got traded 5-6 years ago, to a contender. They would have taken on his contract at that point just to make a run. But, I mean, gracias, Miggy, right?
Yeah, no,
That was,
agreed.
yeah, he's the quintessential player of this generation for us, at Detroit fans, and for a lot of fans. But yeah, I mean, what else to say other than thanks, man? I mean, that was a special ride.
Yeah, Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I mean is like Eddie said, so like gracias, gracias, Miggy. But it was great to see him, kind of go out the way he did and get the standing O from the fans. And, I'm sure it was a super special moment for him. And I mean, like I said, even I was like, oh man, like this is kind of more sad than I was really expecting it to be, because we all knew it was coming, clearly. But even though I'm like sad to see him go, I'm ready to see what the Tigers have to do in the future. See where they go from here. I don't know. I know we've talked about them not spending money, or maybe not, or maybe they will. You never know. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully it all works out.
Huh. Well, they have a big amount now they'll have, right? Because of him leaving.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a lot
they-
of money.
Another
They did
35
already,
to the
too.
yeah. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
Obviously I highlighted that earlier in the year. I mean, they were spending around the middle of the
Yeah.
league with Miguel on the
It's
books.
about the time you were hating on Miggy too, I think.
I was. he was sloppy out there, man. Hey, he was in his last year. I didn't think he would pull through, and like he always does, he showed out and he
You laughed at me.
overachieved. Hey, man, I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm saying he overachieved yet again. When I certainly doubted it. I thought he was just going out there to get his waves in, do his tour at his last season and all that. I'm not ashamed to say it because I've seen it happen. And
Yeah,
he didn't come into the season, in great condition, and he started out super slow and very cold. And I thought, okay, this is just Miguel's goodbye season, and it is what it is, man. But you know what? He hit. How do you? That's on me, man. For denying a Hall of Famer that they're just going to be able to just, hit above 250, 260.
Best batting average since 2019.
I mean, isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
It wasn't that way when I said that. for my, in my own defense, it was not above that 2019 batting average at that time.
It's true. It was a lot lower.
In 2019, he batted 282, and then after that, it was so. So best batting average since 2020, I guess you could say. Yeah, no. The part that got me was watching his mom cry. That was the part where I was like,
Mom's never been that proud of me.
So that was
it's all jokes.
that was pretty cool moment on a pretty cool weekend. Well, speaking of parents, Lions beat the Packers in Lambeau.
Oh yeah.
So before I get into your thoughts, Dodie, real quick 34-20 Lions over the Packers. If you're watching this, you probably watched the game. 1928 for Goff, 210 touchdown interception. Montgomery with a game, 32 carries, 121 and 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love, 23 or 36 for 246. The Green Bay running backs and Jordan Love, 12 carries for 27 yards. Defensive domination, especially in the first half from Detroit. I wrote in my notes, at least at this stage of his career, which is still kind of young, Jordan Love is exactly who I thought he was. Man, this division's for the taking, right? Yeah, see, everyone agrees.
They all agree back there.
The division's theirs for the taking, right? I mean, man, they win the games that they should win at this point, and you're looking at first time NFC North champions. A lot of football to go. I mean, anything can happen, but man, that defense is something else. Dodie, your thoughts on the game Thursday, and how upset is your father?
I actually haven't talked to him yet in person. Maybe he's avoiding me. Actually, he did write me the next day. It took him like all morning and afternoon to write me. And what did he say? He's one of my favorites. He said looked great. Lions looked great and now rule the division. Good luck for no injuries so they can be a force in the playoffs. That's what he said at 12:13 p.m. on Friday. It took him a little bit. But
yeah, you can wear that like a coat. It's just nice and warm.
Yeah.
That's so comforting.
Part of me is like, they won for so long. How could they, not share a little? So are we supposed to share? I watched the game with Lindsay, and she's a Packer fan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Honest to gosh, this Lions winning is very strange on me because I feel so empathetic to the people losing now. It's not like I want to lose again, but I like watching the Giants game last night. I was like, oh my gosh, that poor quarterback. I mean, he just looks so frustrated, and my heart breaks. And like with Lindsay watching the game, I wouldn't cheer. I was just like, yay. And she was like, you can cheer. And I'm like, I know, I just don't want to rub it in because, I know how it feels, which probably was
You've been
worse,
doing
right?
it for the last 20 years.
We finally got 4 in a row.
So, right, I have 4 in a row. So I was a little distracted during the game because, Lindsay and I haven't seen each other that much, so we were talking a lot. To be honest, I wasn't as excited with that win as I was the very first game. Oh my gosh, the Kansas City game.
Yeah.
The Kansas City game, like,
more exciting.
I was scared to death. I was so scared for that game, and my dad was like, I'm really afraid you guys are going to make a fool of yourself. I'm like, me too, and then JP and I were at a bar in Tennessee, and then once it got good, they were doing karaoke, and I was like karaoke in every like Michigan song I could think of, Eminem, Kid Rock, like for real. But that game was more for me more exciting. But I was a little distracted, like I said. So, yay. I just don't like to rub it in too much to my cheesehead family.
I mean, they've been walking around all smug and happy for the last 25 years. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, enjoy it a little bit.
it's our time. It is our time.
you know
I mean,
it.
for real.
And I say that jokingly because like your father is the opposite of smug. Like he's always been, he's always been like cheerful for the Lions even when things weren't going well.
I mean, I'd say borderline condescending, but I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you should hear him on the phone
Well,
sometimes,
I
like
don't
when
want you
he's
to
talking to
embarrass
his
yourselves
family.
tonight. We wouldn't say that if the Packers were playing Kansas City on opening. I hope you guys don't embarrass yourselves.
Well, his reason was
I mean, I
legit, but now
understand. I
he's
totally
eating his
understand.
words. Um, well, I'd say he's definitely like right now. I'm watching the Brewers, cheering for them. Our
Mm.
team's
Mhm.
out, so I moved to the Brewer bandwagon. And I honestly think that he does cheer for us too when
Yeah.
he's out.
I
Yeah.
believe
So
it.
yeah. Mhm.
Let's see what happens in about 3-4 years when Detroit's winning the division, every other year. I mean, one can wish, right? Like
I mean, why
there's a
not?
flash in a pan.
Now's
That
the
could be
time
it.
to wish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
exactly.
But you know what I keep saying on like Facebook and stuff? People are like, oh yeah, the Lions are finally good. Oh, thank God. Like the Michigan fans. I'm like, okay, let's remember this because they will be bad again.
Yeah.
And let's remember the Tigers and the Pistons and the Red Wings. And Lindsay laughs at me when I say this. She's like, you're like a mom with these kids. But like, like they're all gonna be good and they're all gonna
I was gonna
it's
say,
just
but you're
There's always a
speaking
chance.
facts. Like, it's not wrong. So, Eddie, what were your thoughts from Thursday?
I mean, I loved every second of it. I mean, I can't. I gotta tell you, it felt just as good as Kansas City to me, man. I was so jacked. I'm by myself watching that game, nearly screaming, like in the first half. I'm so jacked
Mhm.
up. Um, the Lions went out to Ford Field West and put on a show, and
Ford Field West. There's a lot of
Ford
blue
Field
there.
What?
There's a lot of blue.
Hey, man, and you saw the statements. Afterwards, they were
Yeah.
very up. The Packers brass and all that were very upset with how many tickets that got sold to Lions fans. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
and kudos to all our Lions brethren who went out there and made it happen. I mean, that was pretty awesome to see. I watched the whole post game. They're all chanting, dude. I was just so
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah, that was
That was a
awesome.
big game for the Lions. Really, it was like again we talked about last week. Were they prepared? It was just another big game in prime time in front of the country. It's their time to take the division. It's all that stuff. Can they do it? It's a game we lose all the time in the past.
Mhm.
And this is one we won. So it felt good. Just real briefly, I mean, other than that, I mean, they look dominant up front, obviously. I go through the PFF guys. Number one on offense was Josh Reynolds. Montgomery,
Yeah, the
who actually
game.
had his first win against Green Bay in his career.
Oh
He was
yeah.
0-7.
Mhm.
Well, he was
Yeah.
a bear. So they were
Yeah,
Yep.
they're
well,
owned.
and Rogers
They're
owned.
owned by Aaron Rodgers.
He did. He said it, and I mean that's clearly true.
Yeah, he clearly
Then
owned them.
followed by St. Brown Glasgow, which was huge. Now that he's really starting to get in a groove now, which is why they signed him and it felt great when they got him. Ragnow finished the top 5. He was the number one guy in pass protection at 84.2. At the bottom, you could say James Mitchell, Brock Wright. Decker was actually down there, but they get downgraded so much due to penalties, and he had the 2 penalties that it kind of brought him down there. And the one guy that shows up every week is Marvin Jones. So bring it up every week, 4 weeks in a row. Marvin Jones is at the bottom. Maybe it's time to get Dylan Drummond in there a little bit. Antoine
Mhm.
Green was also in the bottom 5, so
Well,
I don't know if he's the guy either. But
right,
he hasn't had that many reps to begin with.
right.
You could probably guess some of the top 5 on defense. Kaminsky was actually at the top PFF grade. on defense. He had 7 pressures, a sack. I mean, the guy was, you know, was awesome. Aleem McNeil, Hutch in there, Brian Branch, who glad to see the X-rays were negative on that. Anzalone was in there, who had the highest pass coverage PFF grade of any Detroit linebacker this season. When I'm usually on here dogging him about his pass coverage, he ended up, being top guy. And then at the bottom, Jack Campbell actually came in at the bottom. Will Harris actually followed, which I just hope he just gets his feet under him because he came in for Brian Branch. So other than that, that's really what I got on the game. I was just super excited for all that.
And I feel like you can credit Anzalone's PFF grade to the pressure they put on Love all night.
Oof,
definitely makes your job so much easier,
Like I said, Kaminsky had 7 pressures. Hutch had 8. You know what I mean? I mean, they were all over the guy. It was clear. But
Dean, what do you got?
Well, also, I mean, JMO comes back this week as well, so getting him more involved, getting Marvin into that 4th or 5th wide receiver role. Let's get him into that mentor role, It has been, because I mean, we saw him catch a lot of balls with his chest when he was in Detroit. a lot of arm catches with that guy. But it was a dominating game. I mean, I liked seeing how they didn't just fall apart when Goff threw that pick pretty much right away, right at the beginning of the game. The defense held strong, and the offense came out and answered right away. I loved it. That was great. It was good to see, Goff didn't just get rattled and fall apart, which could have easily have happened. I mean, you just talked about it. The D line was, that first half, it almost made me feel bad for Jordan Love because he's just 0 time. I said almost. Almost.
Okay. All right.
I was loving seeing it. But
did they feel bad for Joey Harrington?
Not once.
No, they didn't. No,
not
nobody felt bad
they
for Joey
laughed
Harrington.
at
Not
him.
once.
That poor guy. But that was great. I mean, they obviously made more adjustments in the second half and started giving him more short throws where they weren't getting as much pressure. I mean, I love the offense. They kind of felt like in the second half they were just playing not to lose until they came back a little bit, and then that drive in the 4th quarter just came back down and scored right away. Great to see. Overall, super happy with the game. Obviously, it was dominant.
I was really disappointed.
I was pretty disappointed at how good they looked.
I need
defense
them to
might
be
have been too good. That's a true Lions fan right there.
Yeah, no kidding. They're too good. Okay,
they're too good. The bad calls aren't affecting us.
Dude, how about that?
So many bad calls.
To begin
end of the third
third
quarter. Oh my gosh.
You're like, okay, like I know in my head I'm being a conspiracy theorist, but like you're keeping this drive alive.
Right.
Like they were literally, and even the announcers couldn't even like justify the penalties.
Yeah, they're like, it should have been called dead
probably
at the end of when it hit all zeros. Like it's all.
Well, that one, and at the beginning of the third when the Packers had the ball, and like they had that first scoring drive that they had.
Oh, you're talking about with
like
Hutch.
There was that.
They were like
one.
hands to the face when it was like the Trey Flowers thing a couple years back.
Yeah, and then there was another one on that same drive, but I was
they
like
had 2 bad penalties. Yeah,
the call on Branch.
I think that was it. Yeah.
The call on Branch where they even reviewed it, and or did they not? Did they not review it?
No,
that was when they called him for. Was it for targeting, right?
Oh, yeah, that was such a bad play.
Or not target. When he led with his head. Sorry.
It was like helmet to helmet.
Helmet to helmet. Thank you. And it wasn't even close. So.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's another week where officiating seems like it's out to get Detroit.
man, yeah. What are you gonna do? I don't know. That was a rough quarter where I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, man. I mean, it just felt like they were trying to keep Green Bay in the game. Uh, maybe they weren't. I don't know. It's easy when you're biased, right, to say, yeah, they're definitely keeping us out. But man, it
Right.
just seemed like it.
Yeah.
Right.
It just really did. But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Well,
We
great
won, so.
seg. Right. Great segue into this week, where they're playing the Panthers at home. I believe last I checked, they're an 8.5 point favorite,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest in the NFL this week, if not the
Gotta be.
Oh
biggest.
wow.
Gotta be.
Kind of that these are the games that worry me, right? Like you're coming off after prime time, big win at Lambeau. You're leading the division. Carolina's 0-5. Uh, this one I usually I still worry about it in some instances, but like I just feel like Dan and the coaching staff are just gonna have them ready to go. It just feels different. I mean, every team has a letdown game, but I just feel like with the extra days off that they get to rest up, and you've talked about it, Dean, with JMO coming back. Um, I got some notes, but I'll let you guys go. Eddie, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Dodie.
Hey, I kind of had the same feeling. I mean, the Panthers haven't won, but it just felt like a trap game. It it's a little akin to last year when we played the Panthers. It just felt like that was when we were definitely going to win, and then it didn't happen. But it's a different team, and they're running out a rookie QB who hasn't been doing that great. I don't know. Even if Andy Dalton plays, we it shouldn't be oh no, here comes Andy Dalton, kind of thing.
Right.
So they just should be too good.
Oh, no.
It just feels like every week feels like this is another you got to prove it kind of thing. Last week Green Bay prime time take the division. This week it's a trap game kind of thing. So other than that, your big favorites at home after a big win got to take care of business. There is one thing I want to add about just in general, not having to do with this game. I just want to get in while we're still talking about the NFC North and whatnot. Was something disturbing that I was seeing about the Bears. I was talking about how earlier in the year they were comparing Fields to Pat Mahomes. You're seeing that stuff. This really upset me. What I saw, okay, because there's this little gem I saw where
first.
Bears. This is it. I got one sentence to go. Bears fans were like, "Wait till next year when we're gonna have Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson as our head coach," and it just really made me upset.
That's not impossible, bro.
I know. That's the upsetting part. I'm like, no, dude, Ben Johnson to the Bears would be just the most torturous, especially because he's obviously really good at his job.
Right.
They're gonna, and he knows our whole team, like top to bottom.
You think
Ben
he
Johnson to the
have Brad
Bears
Holmes.
is like my nightmare scenario.
He doesn't have Brad Holmes, though. He still has Bears scouting. So
good point.
I don't know. That's
they
all I
found
was
a
saying.
couple of gems, but
That's the only thing I want to add in was that Bears thing because it almost ruined an afternoon at minimum for me.
Oh, goodness.
well, I've also heard they're pretty much guaranteed to get rid of Justin Fields after this year, unless he really just tears it up.
That's why those people were like Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I mean, honestly, that's probably a 500 team already.
Right.
With a decent quarterback play.
It depends. I mean, say Detroit gets to the NFC Championship and loses. Does Ben stay?
No, he's gonna have so many offers, especially if they get to the NFC Championship. He had offers last.
I think if they
year.
just
He had
make
interviews
the playoffs,
last year, dude. We didn't even make the playoffs, bro.
He turned down jobs last year.
He's got to go. I mean, if he doesn't go, then he never wanted to be a head coach. Like after this year, this is his time.
Man, Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Just not the
I
Bears.
did hear. I
Anywhere
heard one of
else.
them talking about it. I think Golf was talking about that on an interview this week. I think.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want. Yeah. Thanks for ruining my evening. Jeez,
That's what I
Pete.
said, dude. It
Yeah.
came, it got thrown on me, and I just couldn't hold that to myself. I couldn't carry that load.
I mean, he might not
Like,
be a
it's-
good head coach either.
It doesn't
Then he
matter.
come, and then he comes back.
Just having him go to the Bears
Yeah.
He'll
Well,
come back.
would just be
maybe he'll
devastating
be
to me.
loyal. Maybe he'll be loyal and stay.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I mean, he stayed this year.
I mean, that was pretty cool just for him to stay the 1 more year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty nice of him. Yeah.
So
I'm
Sorry,
jealous.
guys. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Dodie, what do you think's gonna happen this weekend?
I do think sometimes after teams win, like our first win, like the next game, teams can be a little too overconfident, and I feel like that's what happened with the Seattle game a bit.
Mm.
So I think Dan Campbell's really good about having them keep their head down and just focus eyes on the prize. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's not over celebrate here. I do remember last year playing this team, Carolina. It was
Yep.
Christmas weekend, and my dad and mom were out to visit. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to see the Lions. They're actually good this year. And so we took them out for pizza, watched the game, and my dad's like, of course, of all games,
Yeah.
My dad's like, okay.
He's like, sure they
He's
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're good.
Hopefully they don't
It's-
embarrass themselves next
they're
week.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
Love you, Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
So I think they know now after that Seattle game, especially they just got to keep their heads down and just just play like you're playing the Niners or one of the just go out and do it. Don't hurt yourself. It is great that we're getting Jameson back. I'm glad they cut that down a little bit. Wasn't it supposed to be 6 games
Yeah.
that he was? Yeah, and
Yeah.
it went to 4.
I
Yeah.
think
4 games.
Four.
like the
So-
actual
did.
rule is like 2 games now, right? But he was already
They adjusted it based on how they just changed the rules on betting on non-NFL games, which is what he got caught doing. Betting on non-NFL
Mm.
games. I don't know what it officially got reduced to. I just know it was less than 6 games. So now he's good to
Will
go.
be. It will, oh, well, it'll be 4 because they've been.
I don't
through
know.
4.
Is that what it is now? 4? I mean, he got suspended. Officially ended up being 4, but they just changed the rule.
Oh, gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw some that said 2, but I might be
Hmm.
wrong.
So who do you got, Dodie?
To win this game?
Yeah.
I would go with the
Panthers.
Lions, even with the spread. Even with the spread, I would. Yeah,
Ooh, Lions with the spread.
and I'm
Ooh.
2/3% right on my pick'ems. I'm number 1.
Dang.
Oh,
Yeah,
Here
against
we
all
go.
the guys.
$1,000 on the Lions to cover. All right.
Eddie, before
Vegas.
Eddie, before we get into Dean, what do you got for your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Lions to cover. I mean, if they play, they go as far as they did last week. I mean, they beat the Packers, who are better than the Panthers. I know you can't use that week to week, right? But we
Right.
are at home. We had a dud last time after a big week at home. I would expect them to come out hot. Yet again, you hope,
Right.
and win by 10 at least.
All right, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't want to sleep on the Panthers because, as we've discussed before, I mean, they are an NFL team regardless of how terrible they are, I think Bryce Young could be an okay quarterback. I think he can have moments, and sometimes those can be just enough to get big plays. you know what I mean, and things could happen. But this, in all reality, though, I mean, if you look up and down the roster, they don't really have a lot of elite talent on their team, regardless. So, I mean, this should be a game the Lions win. I mean, their D line should be all over Bryce Young the entire game if he plays or he doesn't. The only thing he is playing, right? I mean, he played last week,
Who's
right?
that?
Bryce Young.
Yeah, from what
I know he was
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
From what
I
I've
think
read,
he
he's
did
playing.
play. Yeah.
Okay, I don't follow the Panthers very much. So.
Well, sure.
The only thing I worry about is
What?
just Deuce Staley. I don't know how much say he actually has, but you know, I mean, he does know our roster, and knows Ben Johnson. You know what he likes
Yeah,
to
that's a good
call, I'm
point.
sure, things like that. So maybe you could give him a leg up on defense. Like I said, I don't know how much say he really has in that organization, but other than that, I mean, I think the Lions should definitely win.
I
And
wasn't thinking about that.
I'd say
AG
cover.
fired up, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're
Oh man,
Yeah.
they're gonna be yelling at each other from across the
I just
field.
thought this would be a perfect week for Mosley to come back, just because like they don't have. I can't even think of who their best receiver is after they lost DJ
Thiel-
Moore.
Thielen.
Thielen, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah,
They
it
have
is.
DJ
Thielen leads their
Chark,
team in
too.
yards,
Chart.
for sure.
Don't they have like Terrence Marshall?
Is he hurt already? I mean, that's a real question.
I don't know. Probably. I don't follow the Panthers.
Speaking
know-
of
I
former
said
Lions,
this
have you
earlier.
seen Jamal Williams has got like 27 carries for like under 100 yards and no touchdowns?
Yeah.
He got hurt,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah,
I
he's
think
hurt.
he has.
Yeah.
But,
Yep, JP
mean,
has him on his
another-
fantasy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah.
another slick, smart move by Brad Holmes. Paid less for Montgomery.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams is gone.
Montgomery's good.
Montgomery.
He's got-
He's
I think he's missed one game, and he has the most forced missed tackles again in the NFL as it stands through 4 weeks.
Hmm.
The guy's a beast.
Swift has been playing really well though in Philadelphia.
He's no Jameer
It's-
Gibbs, but he's fine.
Yeah, he's a
I mean,
poor
but we
man.
we
Jameer
knew
Gibbs.
what kind of running back Swift can be when he was healthy. They also
Right.
never
Yeah.
gave him the touches because they just didn't want him to get hurt.
I think he would have similar numbers to get. Honestly, he did probably have fairly similar numbers to Gibbs in our offense.
For sure. Same amount
I
of
would
touches and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So, my notes. I just said this is one of the, like I talked about earlier, games that they should win going forward. This is definitely one of those games. Bryce Young was sacked 5 times last Sunday against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Yeah. Against Minnesota. I see more of the same. I actually have here. It's gonna probably look the same this Sunday defensively, right? I think they'll probably have a strong first half. Carolina will adjust, and then AG will have to adjust to that. But man, that third quarter, we talked about it a little bit, but you saw them adjust to Detroit's defense, and the best thing that could have happened for me is watching Detroit's defense adjust to them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That was good to see. Should see more of the same. Carolina's 27th in rushing yards allowed per game. They are top 10 in passing yards allowed. Lions should get good push off the line for Montgomery. Montgomery should have another big game. I mean, if their pass defense is decent, just give Goff a little bit of a break. Try to kind of rely on Gibbs and Montgomery. And
No doubt.
and what's his name? Who they what was it? Knight? Zonovan Knight?
Yeah, Zonovan Knight.
Yeah.
He did pretty good.
he
man.
played
Yeah.
well in his role. Yeah, no, I think Dan will have him ready to play. I'm gonna say Lions by 17.
Mm.
See that.
It'll probably, I mean, I that was before I thought about Deuce Staley, because you're right, Dean. I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, I know they changed playbooks, but I mean, he'll know what the looks are.
Yeah. Same with the defense too. In reality, I mean, he loved
And
going against AG in practice. So
I
just trying to
thought
beat
Deuce
him.
was the assistant head coach in Carolina.
I think he is.
I have no idea.
He's got the same
I
position.
don't follow
like,
Yeah.
that he
Carolina.
left Detroit with.
So, all right, we all got Lions winning. Next up,
Was
we're gonna talk.
surprised.
Yeah, big surprise there, huh?
Hey,
All right, we're gonna move on to Red Wings preseason action. I Dean, you and I are kind of in the same boat. We haven't really watched a lot of it. I did catch some of it over the weekend. Eddie and I texted a little bit. Um, Dean, what's your in-depth analysis on the left wing position?
I'm not 100% who plays left wing for the Red Wings.
No, but Dodie, have you watched most of Red Wings preseason this year?
Yeah, yeah. I watched this weekend against the Blackhawks, and they're on right now again. They're 1-0. Blackhawks are winning, but they beat the Blackhawks over the weekend. Um, yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. Yeah, I think they should be better this year. Yeah, they were better last year, just like the Tigers went from last place last year to second place this year. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, right? So we're all on the waters are good in Detroit right now. I mean, everyone's getting better. So
Yeah,
it should be better season.
I agree. I mean, here's hoping. I mean, they've looked good from what I've watched. Um, Eddie, we talked about it a little bit via text, but I'll let you get into it. What you've noticed, any observations, things like that.
yeah, man. Mostly I've loved what I've seen. In general, Larkin and DeBrinket, DeBrinket are coming along pretty nicely, man. For not having played together at all ever before, they've got a pretty decent chemistry so far, and they've unlike other major sports, the starters play a bit more in preseason than you would see in other sports. I think they just have to build that chemistry, especially those guys. Like I said earlier, DeBrinket or earlier, 10 to 12 episodes ago, if DeBrinket gets 66 points again, but that pushes Larkin to a 90, 100-point season, it was all worth it because so far you're seeing Larkin get these goals, and the name you'll see in one of the two assist lines is DeBrinket so far,
Yeah,
and that definitely adds up. And DeBrinket's a guy you will always notice has more assists than goals, usually, other than maybe one of his 240 goal seasons. But that was the big reason to get a guy like that. Feed a guy like Larkin, who is a very talented scorer, and get him in there, man. I mean, get the puck in a chance where one of those two can put it in. That's I don't know how many times when we talked about the Red Wings over the summer, it was always they need points. They desperately need to score more points. And maybe that's super obvious thing to say, but it was so apparent compared to who you're trying to catch at the top of the league to where we were at is we just had to put more points on the board just in general. The defense has still got a ways to go. I really love the front line of Wallman and Sider. They really had a good chemistry last year until Wallman got hurt, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, they play together. That's a tough defensive line, a good scoring line, plus just solid goal protection line. We'll see what happens in the net. Husso is Husso. He's not elite, but he's not bad. I'm really hoping Alex Lyon. I haven't really seen him play in preseason. They've had Bednar go, Husso's gone. Um, what's his face? Reimer, who loves to let goals in. Reimer is fine in like a one game out of 8 to 10, right? Like he can come in, he's a vet, he's done it. Like you can trust him to not make dumb decisions. He's just not an amazing goaltender. Like
Right.
he's just like if you're playing good defense, you could win 3-1. You know, he's gonna let a goal in. But I've really liked it. I like what who I've started calling Doctor Evil. Derek Lalonde. Uh, does he not kind of look like Doctor Evil or Gru
Their
from
the coach,
Despicable Me? Yeah,
their head coach, yeah.
He's one of the two to me. I haven't put it, but I've been thinking Doctor Evil.
Oh my
You know,
gosh, that's funny.
Uncle Fester.
yeah, Uncle Fester. Just to put it in perspective, last year in preseason doesn't mean much. Obviously, Nate Daniels, like a lot of guys that aren't going to be on the roster are playing right now. Not a lot, but a decent amount. We went 3-5 last year in preseason. We're 3-1 already. And I think it just speaks to what they can do on the power play and what they can do scoring. But that's all I have. It wasn't much. Just but that's it.
Well, your last point there, the thing that stuck out with me is what's their power play. And the game that I watched, I mean, their power play looked awesome. I mean, it was shades of like late 90s, 2000s Detroit power play where they just move the puck around so effortlessly. And it seemed like I only saw the 2 power plays that day and they scored on both. So,
well, we texted each other about that. It's one of those things where it just feels like when they have a power play, it feels like they're probably going to score.
yeah. So, barkeep. So we'll get into the Red Wings more as we get into the season. Like we said, they look pretty good so far preseason. Still, I think that power play's the power play that's going to be out there. So, get penalties, they'll score.
Well, I mean, yeah, like again, to your point on the power play, man, they're running mostly their starters on power play, and the other teams are running their power play defense. It's not like if we're putting Larkin and DeBrincat out there, they're not running, the guy they're sending to the OHL.
Right.
They're putting out their guys too. And now, granted, we have, it hasn't been everybody's top line goalie, but at the same time, some of those shots I've seen these guys put in are like, I don't know how you'd stop it anyway.
Yeah.
I saw Larkin put this freaking beauty in the other night that I was like, and it was obviously from DeBrincat.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I'm like,
looks so effortless. It looks so effortless.
You hate to get too excited during preseason. What did excite me was Anthony Mantha, who now plays for the Capitals, fighting Marco Kasper. The other night.
I didn't see
I just thought it was funny. I made a note of it just because I'm like, oh, former Red Wing fighting one of our new young guys. I mean, Mantha kind of kicked his butt a little bit, but Kasper was there. He's 19, man. I mean, giving it a go. Game. Yeah. It's a man's game.
So, all right. Well, we will get into now. I feel like that's my segue every time. Is we're gonna get into now. I need to find I need to find a different one. Next topic here on the BD Sports Talk podcast is a little bit of health tips. The last time we had you on, we talked about my very unhealthy diet. What, I actually, the funny thing about it is after that episode, I really kind of started to walk. I really just gave up on all. I put up like 40 pounds. It's been 9 episodes. I cried after we got off.
It was pretty sad. Yeah.
I've eaten 3 pizzas a day since.
Carbs are my friend.
Yes.
No, actually, and I kind of took what you said, and I started kind of eating a little better, as far as like
Mhm.
in the. And I wanted to run this past you before before we you give us one of your tips, but I want to run this past you. So lately, I've been, instead of eating 1 or 2 meals a day, I've been eating 5 large meals. No, five smaller meals a day. So like in the morning, I'll have a bowl of fruit, and then in the mid morning, I'll have like
A
veggies
steak, egg, and cheese bagel.
uh, like bell peppers and carrots, things like that. And then I'll have a lunch, which I won't describe what that is. And then and then like a mid afternoon snack is like a thing of trail mix, like
That's
peanuts
good.
and raisins, not like Cheez-Its and not like that, like actual trail mix. And then dinner.
Yes.
So I
I
mean,
love it.
I feel better. I
Good.
feel like I have more energy. I don't know if I've lost a lot of weight, but I feel better. I guess it's better than eating, like Dean said, a steak, egg, and cheese bagel, and then two double cheeseburgers, and then you know what I mean. So I wanted to run that by you and see if I'm on the right track.
Yeah, yeah. I love what you're doing. And one thing that is really nice that you're doing that I was going to talk about, so it's perfect segue, is that you're eating like whole foods.
Mm,
Instead of the cheeses, you're having trail mix.
mhm,
So that is like one of my clients that was very successful. Um, Lost a good, gosh, he lost a good 50, 60 pounds working with me in a year. Um, his favorite diet with me is just all whole foods during the week, and then weekend is when he has the packaged processed food. That's
mm,
easy for him to remember. So Monday through Friday is wholesome fruits and vegetables and yogurt and um, milks, eggs, and nuts, olive oil, and then the only time you have like a bag of Cheez-Its or whatever would be like Sunday. So
mm,
that's what you're doing.
mhm.
I was gonna talk about that anyway, so it's really perfect. Because today I've been studying a lot about Costa Rica, and I don't know if you've heard about the blue zones. Have you,
No,
any of you?
no.
That those are 5 areas in the world people have the most longevity. And it's not just eating healthy, it's their relationships, it's their spiritual, it's the physical. And Costa Rica is one of the places, Nicoya Peninsula in particular. And one of the things they do is they eat very wholesome rice, beans, fish. Um, and they move and walk around a lot. And they're actually from the poor countries. And, they say it costs a lot of money to be healthy. There, it's a kind of
Right.
yeah. So, what you said is perfect. The only thing I would add to your breakfast maybe is maybe 11 almonds or 12 almonds to give you a little protein and fat with your bowl of fruit.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, to give you more longevity. If it's all sugar, it will go in to your blood system quicker than if you have some fat and protein with nuts, Greek yogurt. Then that's going to slow down the absorption of sugars into your system and sustain you longer. You could actually maybe even cut out a little bit of the fruit and add
Mhm.
yogurt or nuts.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Heck yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
it would be good too.
Um. So my I'll have to tell that to Charlie, my daughter, because she makes my breakfast in the morning. she she
Oh,
like
sweet.
the fruit, and then she like crinkle cuts apples. She's like, I made you an apple egg.
He makes her do it.
Cute.
It's sad. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen.
No, that's perfect. That's awesome. Um, I don't know if you want to talk about what you do a little bit. I know you kind of did last time, but I just wanted to kind of, like I said, before we started, kind of give you the platform to like talk about what you do and like how you can help people and things like that.
Well, the reason I am a registered dietitian, so I teach people how to eat. And when it's funny when I say that to children and children ask me what I do, I'm like, I teach people how to eat. They're like, people don't know how to eat, you know. But yeah, we do get really screwed up as adults, you know. But really, our society starts messing with how we eat as early as 6 years old. Um, I most often counseling people one on one, but I am also very eclectic as a dietitian. And why I was studying Costa Rica is I'm putting together an itinerary to take people to Costa Rica in 2024 so that they can experience the life of Costa Rica firsthand. I
Mm.
was fortunate to go in May this year, and it was lovely. And it's a neat country. So I'm putting together this trip. We're going to tour a coffee plantation and learn about that. We're going to tour a winery. They have rum there. We're going to go to, let's see, we're going to have a chef demonstrate making ceviche. Let's see, it's going to be really a fabulous experience, you know, and hiking and monkeys, and it's a neat country.
Yeah,
So
no kidding.
it it's fun to see how other people live and
Right.
how fortunate we are here in America, but we sometimes are at a disadvantage because we are so fortunate, like walk more like they do and eat more wholesome than all our convenience food.
Right. Huh.
Hmm.
Nice. Well, cool. That'll be
Nice.
nice.
Yes, you're all welcome to come if you want.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think I got to work that weekend.
Yikes. Healthy
No.
for a full weekend.
Yeah. You mean you're gonna have to watch me eat? Oh my god.
He just won't
Don't
eat for the
worry.
weekend.
Is
Yeah.
I
there
am
McDonald's around?
Like, Bill, I have not seen you eat all week. This is what I do. This is what-
That's my program.
This is my program.
um so so with that said, how, if someone were interested in talking to you or consulting with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
go to my website, nutritionformen.com. So it's
Is it
nutrition, the number four, men.com, or nutritionforladies.com.
oh
Hmm. Hmm.
awesome. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. That, I figured, I don't think I brought that up last time, so I kind of felt bad. So I wanted to give you that moment to kind of discuss, because I know you love doing what you do. So
I do.
um
I do. It's, I don't even feel like I'm working. And especially when we
that's
do fun
awesome.
things like go to Costa Rica. So
Right. Yeah, no
I
kidding.
like to make it fun. You know, it's
Hmm.
living healthy. It should be fun. And that's my goal, is to show people that great side of life.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. So nutrition for men.com and
Hmm.
nutritionforladies.com.
Correct.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's let's get into our last segment, which is it's not would you rathers anymore, by the way. We switched it up. It's if you could or if you had. Okay.
Right.
And I have
This is where Eddie gets over analytical with the questions.
What? Hey, I'm just trying to figure it out, man.
Yeah, they're hypotheticals, man. They're not real.
We're
Okay.
supposed to apply this to real life, are we not?
I got to go over the stats.
Yeah, I need time to look this up.
It's Googling the question.
Okay. So the first one is actually sports related. Is pertaining to the Lions because I saw something about this today. So if the Lions win playoff games and you had to let go of one of the four, would it be, and with these stats, okay? So keep those stats in mind when I read them. Jared Goff, you can keep three, you got to get rid of one. Jared Goff, but he throws for 4,400 yards, 29 TDs, and 7 picks on the year. Okay. Sewell, who only allows 2 sacks the whole year. Hutch, who had 60 tackles, 9.5 sacks. Or Amon
Jason
Ra.
Pittman.
Yeah. Or Marvin Jones. Oh, man. Or Amon Ra St. Brown, who has 106 yards or 106 receptions, over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. Okay. So Goff, Penei Sewell, our right tackle, Aiden Hutchinson, or Amon Ra. We'll go with Eddie first.
I mean, I got to go get rid of JG. The other three are just too important to me. I think for the franchise in general. I mean, regardless of the stats. Throw the stats out the window. The other three are too important to what they got going on.
Okay.
They're kneecap biters, man. I can't say that about JG.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Dean,
I
who
love
do you-
JG.
No,
I
you're
should say.
fine. I
Yeah.
mean, it's. I mean, really, it's.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a really tough question.
Dean.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It'd have to be Jared Goff. Like Eddie said, the other ones are just. I think they're
That's
more
right.
cornerstones of the franchise. Whereas Goff, I feel like they want to keep him, but if they have to get rid of him, they will. You know what I mean? Like it's. Whereas the other guys, I feel like they would do what they can to keep them.
Okay. Dodie.
I would get rid of Sewell.
Shame on
Yeah. I know it's a hard question. I think
It is.
Jared Goff has a lot
That's
of
a fair answer.
leadership. I mean, leadership with all three of the other ones and not Sewell as much. For the team, the heart of the team. That's what I was worried about with our I always get the names mixed up. The guy that went that we were just talking about earlier to Williams.
Oh, Jamal
Oh, yeah,
Williams.
Jamal.
Jamal.
Yeah. Like I was worried because that he was the heart of the team. But no, I think those three that I'm not letting go have more leadership.
Okay.
Tough.
That's a good answer.
Tough.
It's tough. Yeah.
For me, I don't want to do it, but
How
if
dare
Goff
you.
were to perform the way he's been performing, I think you get rid of Amon Ra.
Mm.
All right,
And I
I'm
say
out.
that I
leaving.
no listen. Hey, no.
No, I'm leaving the. Yeah, it's fine. This was a good time.
I love Amon
That's the
Ra.
last person on this list you could say.
I love Amon Ra. But finding a top 10 quarterback, top 15 quarterback in this league is extremely hard. I mean, you see, I don't know. I guess we'll see in a couple of years how Bryce Young does, CJ Stroud does. But it's so hard to have someone who can lead like he does and is a good game manager. Now, are there better quarterbacks than him? And do I think they'll end up with a better quarterback? Sure, for sure. But I feel like they respond to Jared. And I mean they do with all four. That's the thing. You know what I mean? But like I can't get rid of Sewell. Sewell is grit to a T. Um he's it was tough for me. And I mean on a personal level, I probably would have said Goff, but I think if it were to come down to that, but that's that's just my opinion.
Can I throw in a rebut on that?
I
The
mean,
only thing I would say,
I didn't rebut yours, but that's fine.
you just did. You just did.
With my choice.
Yes, with your choice. That's a full rebuttal.
Healthy
I feel like it was an attack.
All right. All right, go ahead.
The only thing I would say, and it's not really an attack on what you said because I don't disagree with what you're thinking, is just that, like, if you look at, if you have the right system, it can work. I mean, look at Seattle, right? Russ left, he sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Gino came in, couldn't get it done anywhere else. He's getting it done. So maybe if you have the right system with that kind of quarterbacking system where there's protection, there's a run game. I feel like JG would do just as good in Seattle, but he wouldn't do just as good in New York. Like the Giants.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess
But
my
they
only
do respond
thing,
to JG, as you're saying. No doubt.
But I guess my only thing in thinking about it was, like I said, it's hard to get production from a quarterback like you get from Jared Goff with the leadership. I also Amon-Ra, yes, Amon-Ra to me is a top 5 wide receiver. At the very least top 10, but that is a very high top 10. That's like number 6. You know what I mean? But I also feel that they could draft another Amon-Ra. I have that where it's like,
man,
I'm
biased because he's like my favorite player on the team.
No, listen,
I'm very biased.
Tough. Goff isn't the favorite player on the team at all, but I don't know. I just feel like he's not a true number 1 receiver. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that as a slight towards him. That's not what I mean. He's just not he's your slot guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hate saying it.
No, I hear you, dude. I hear you.
You're
the one who put the question out there for us.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Now you're questioning your own morals.
There's no right or wrong answer, it feels like, in that, It's just
except Sewell.
That's a good question.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, except Sewell. That's rude.
No. I would say probably the wrong answer would be Hutch. Yeah. Just because he's the anchor.
Oh, keep it in your pants, all right? You Michigan slappy. Jeepers creepers.
And he was the only defensive choice, so you don't want to get rid of the only defensive player on your list.
Would you get rid of Hutch or Dan Skipper? I mean, it's your choice.
Okay, next question. If you could pick any famous person to hang out with for a day, who would it be? Dean? Oh, you want? All right, we'll come back to you.
Split second. Like, who do you? We're still waiting on me.
Eddie, do you have an answer? Dodie, you have an answer?
I guess
I do.
Oh, she's got one.
Oops.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kid Rock. I would hang out with Kid Rock. Go on a lake in Michigan and just have a good time. Yeah.
Sing his version of Sweet Home Alabama.
In the summer. Yeah. That'd be who I would choose. Absolutely. All right. And just have a day with Kid Rock. It'd be so fun.
It probably would be fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Eddie?
What's that?
What do you mean, what's that?
What's that? Which famous person?
What celebrity,
Uh,
if you hang out with one?
just anyone whatsoever.
I
Mm.
don't know where. I don't know if you're just holding back what you really want to say, or you.
Yeah, go on to Dean. I haven't come
I
up with
am.
good.
I'll go. I'll go
Okay.
while
All
you
right,
two
all right, all
think.
right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think for a whole day, like I would love in my life, I would love to meet Barry Sanders, right?
Right.
But I don't know if I'd want to hang out with him for the whole day.
Yeah, there's only so much you can talk about with him.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
He's kind of a
you
corny
do that run
dude,
was
too.
awesome.
what's that?
He's kind of a corny dude. Have you ever watched it just talk like he's not like a
Yeah.
bro, like he's not like hey, let's grab a beer kind of guy. He's more like what do you think about this flavor of water? Like Barry's
Yeah.
awesome, but he's a very
Right.
Right.
I
type
feel
of
like
dude.
we wouldn't have a
Yeah.
lot
Mhm.
to like hang out with. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, like I'd be
Yeah.
like, there's only so many balls I can hand off to him. Like, like
That
I
he's
just
not
need
even
you.
gonna take.
I just need you in a single back
You're
formation.
just holding
for
it
me,
out.
please. So mine, I think it would be Post Malone.
That's so
Post
funny
Malone?
that name
Really?
just crossed my mind.
I think he's a good dude. He's extremely talented, and I think he'd be just a fun time the whole day. If you wanted to play video games, and play some video games. If you wanted to go to sleep, you could go sleep. You know what I mean? Like I just think he'd be down to do whatever and be like so happy doing it.
Mhm.
So that'd be me.
That's a good person to pick.
Yeah. Eddie, Dean.
I'm still
Still thinking about it.
yikes. Yeah.
There was somebody that was on the tip of my mind, and I just lost it.
Hmm.
So
I
I'll
still-
go with like Seth Rogen. Like that would be fun.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm sure he'd be an awesome time.
Do you think like around 4:00 in the afternoon when he's like for like the 89th time that you'd be like, dude, please stop laughing?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. 'Cause I think he's just funny enough to like you're already laughing anyway at the same time to where you're just not really thinking about it.
Right.
He just seems like just another like regular funny dude that you could just
Yeah.
hang out with.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably go with like Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer. Oh, that Bert would be a lot of fun to be around for. It'd be a lot though.
It would be a lot, dude.
That's probably why I'd go with Tom, honestly.
Yeah. Tom's a little bit laid back. Bert would be like, dude, we gotta go drink this. Or, I saw another guy down the road. He was looking to party. Let's go. Why's your shirt still on?
They even each other out pretty well. If I could get both of them, that'd be perfect.
I don't know. Maybe Travis Kelsey's the answer right now.
I was gonna say Taylor Swift, but
I'd rather hang out with Taylor Swift than him.
I feel like he's
Not a
saving
big
her
fan of him.
career.
What do
For
you
sure.
mean? If it wasn't for Taylor Swift, no one would know who Travis Kelsey is.
I thought it was the reverse. I thought like people forgot about Taylor Swift until Travis Kelsey came along.
Not at all.
you mean
Are you
Brittany
sure?
Mahomes' friend?
Does Taylor Swift even had a song in the last 5 years?
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
You don't
Travis
know
Kelsey has
this?
caught touchdown passes. I haven't heard a Taylor Swift song.
No, she's selling. Her tickets are like
No,
selling out.
there's no way. What, $10 maybe?
Well, that's what
he's
JP.
just trolling.
Oh, okay,
He's
okay.
a troller.
JP's like, am I missing something with Taylor Swift? Like, what is the big deal? Like, I don't get it,
I
with her
mean, I
music,
understand that feeling, but she is crushing it. Like she's
Yeah.
clearly a way bigger worldwide like star than Travis Kelce
Oh
could
yeah.
even imagine.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh yeah. I think he's gonna have a jealousy problem. That's my opinion. I think it's gonna be another Marilyn Monroe, DiMaggio, or whatever his name was.
Mm,
I mean,
really?
That's
there you
my
go.
prediction. Yeah, I hope not.
Not
But
impossible.
yeah, I don't know. I don't care for him. A little egotistical and looks controlling to me. So, and I
Mm.
mean, I'm not like a crazy fan of her. I like her. I don't dislike her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope that it doesn't turn into that because she looks like she's pretty sweet.
I would say I've never
So
been partial to Travis Kelce either. I don't get
No.
it.
No,
I
I'm
really
the
don't.
same way.
Ever since catching Kelce back in the day, I'm like, this dude is like not. He
he's
just,
not
I don't know.
bad.
I feel
Yeah.
like I just I yeah, I'm not like I think he tries too hard.
Me too.
Like he tries too hard to
Yes.
be
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I like when you watch the pod,
Agreed.
like when I see clips of the podcast, like his brother Jason, like so relatable, right?
I
Like
like
just
him.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
the
him.
most natural person.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then I just feel like Travis is just like trying too hard to be cool, and he talks like a certain way sometimes, and it's like okay. I mean,
I agree with you
he's
100%. That's the
got
same feeling I get.
It
I
reminds
mean,
me of
When he
Dean.
was
Dion.
No, Dean.
Oh,
Dean the Bee.
and like when he was on Saturday Night Live, I was like, oh, I don't like him. That was my first like seeing him in action. And why do you think he wants to be Taylor Swift? He's like the biggest thing. Like he wants that for his ego, you know? That's my
Oh,
opinion.
no doubt.
I don't
No doubt.
yeah, yeah, I don't and he's probably gonna get jealous in my opinion. I don't know. So
Dean, how do you feel about Travis Kelsey?
Coolest guy on earth. I think he could try a little harder, to be honest. I love everything about him. I'm just kidding. No, he seems like kind of a douche.
Great.
That was my exact thoughts.
I'm not afraid to say.
Wow.
But yeah, no,
You're brave.
thank you.
You're about to have the Swifties all over you.
All of a sudden,
How dare you talk bad about
I like Taylor.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that just real quick about how obsessive her fans are? It is insane how obsessive they are over her. It's borderline like creepy.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm not surprised. I've met people over the years who are very adamant about who their fandom relates to, and it has not surprised me at all that Taylor Swift has a giant section of those. Because I know folk like other like celebrities who are much like on a different tier than Taylor Swift, where those people are just as hardcore. You just won't hear them because it's not as big of a base. But I've met a lot of folks like that. At least a lot is strong, but and I was surprised at the amount of fandom for some of these other people. So to know that, I mean, Taylor, it's just got to be like times 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's surprising to know that people are that hardcore, but I've seen it on a much lower scale.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. I would talk to you guys off camera about it, honestly. Serious.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Well, that that led into a deep dive. That question.
Over analytical.
All right, last one. Last one. If you had to choose, would you eat a cup of butter or 2 cups of whole coffee beans?
Oof.
A cup.
Of butter, a whole cup.
That's light work.
That's
That goes
two
on one
sticks.
roll, dog.
That's 2 sticks of butter.
It's one roll.
Now,
Give me
no,
one.
you can't melt it.
Well, either way,
Is
they
that-
consider a half a cup 1 stick.
Okay.
That's just how the measurements work, bro.
All
I
right.
didn't
Do I
make
have to
them.
just
The butter
2
people
sticks of
made them.
butter.
do I just have to eat it like a candy bar, or can I put it on like just put it in between some bread?
No, no.
Just go to town on it. So just eat it like a candy bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
I mean,
serve
that's gonna be much easier than eating 2 cups of whole beans, coffee beans. This is not it's like I'm eating a handful of nuts. I'm eating full hard
I mean,
coffee
2
beans.
cups of coffee beans is a lot.
I'll
It's a
say
bold
that,
flavor.
yeah,
That's a strong flavor.
I say you can grind them up though.
Oh.
So we'll say
So it's
ground up
2
coffee
cups
beans.
of full beans, and then you can grind them down after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Was that probably still a cup of ground? Cup and a half of ground beans.
That would be about a quarter of. Usually it grinds down to about
like
a
a
quarter of
ground.
what. So it'd be, what's the quarter of 2 cups? Be a half cup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 2/3 cup. Around there. Somewhere between a quarter to 2/3.
Or a cup of butter.
Oh, well, then with that, easy the coffee. To half to 2/3 cup before.
A half a
we'd
ground.
shake
I mean,
a
that
half
would be
cup to
rough putting down a
2/3.
half cup of ground coffee, but as
I
opposed
can.
to 2 sticks of butter.
That's a lot of fat.
Too late. It's too late.
Oh dang! So we're not supposed to put 2 cups of butter on stuff.
Goes in
Dang
every
it.
meal.
That's not good.
So let me think of how much fat that is. 15 times 16, whatever that is. That's how many grams of fat per stick.
It's too many.
15 times.
Too many to add up.
240 grams.
15. Oh, 40.
Dang.
Yeah, 15 times 16. That's how many grams of fat would be in that. Before you changed it to grinding, because I was concerned about my teeth
Mm-hmm.
and chomping on.
Yeah.
Whole coffee beans.
I was like, teeth are gonna handle that. And then also, when I experience pain, coffee just makes it 10 times worse. So it would kind of depend on my pain level at the moment. But a half cup to 2/3 cup, I could do that easy. I can take a lot. I eat all kinds of strange things.
Just ground coffee.
Just
Just
ground.
dump a half cup down there.
And much healthier too.
You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
well, sure.
I mean, a lot of caffeine. I'll be like this, but
Yeah.
And this is why you need to go to nutrition for men or nutrition for ladies. Because even in this scenario, she's thinking of her health.
Oh heck yes. Almost a thought on everything.
I'm like, give me the butter.
Where's that butter?
Where's that butter at?
He's like, oh, that's easy. I'm just gonna eat
He's
butter."
already eating a stick of butter.
I just pull one out. It's a snack. I don't get it.
We're gonna get off here, and she's gonna be like, "These guys are so unhealthy."
Hey, my day with Kid Rock probably wouldn't be the healthiest either.
No
That is
question.
true. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, those are some pretty good ones. That will actually be it for tonight. We got through everything.
Yay.
Oh, that was awesome. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, go
You
ahead.
know what? One thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
The Oakland A's, what they gave Miguel.
Oh, what was it?
They totally forgot. Didn't you see this?
It was the wine
totally
bottle.
viral.
It was the
Oh,
cheap
the wine. It wasn't the
champagne.
one bottle. Yeah. I
Like,
did see that. It
and
was.
he's a recovering alcoholic.
Look, I saw a
They're
thing.
like,
It was like,
oh, stop at Myers on the way.
yeah,
stop
an
at
$80
Kroger.
bottle of champagne. They said every fan chipped in $1 that was at the game, or something like that. Every fan that was there chipped in $1, and they got that champagne or whatever.
Like honestly, Miggy, we couldn't afford anything else. Right?
Moneyball, you know.
It actually was a good bottle of wine. But yeah, they clearly forgot. But the LA one that they gave, because I was at those games,
Mhm.
that was sweet. But Star, the
Yeah.
Hollywood Star,
Oh, boy,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the best gift. Super cool.
Yeah,
And we
that's
got to see that.
It's
Mhm.
tough to beat.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
What was the one you said something about a guitar? Was it a guitar? I don't
Well,
remember.
Angels gave him a surfboard.
The Angels.
his
That's what it was.
number.
Surfboard.
Mhm.
That's what it was. So you actually got
Yep.
it right.
Yep. I guessed that one. I wasn't at that game. I went to the next game, and then I went to all the Dodger games. But I got scalped on the first game. I
Oh,
trusted this guy on
Oh.
Craigslist. I'm never doing that again. I know.
dang it. That's so
Mhm.
crappy.
I know it. I just so funny. Like as soon as he's like, okay, I just we were texting back and forth. I'm like, thank you so much. You're so generous with hearts. Like I'm
Oh.
like, okay, the tickets
What a piece
are
of crap,
coming.
dude.
Yeah. I hope he felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't, but
Yeah.
he should.
Well,
You-
he keeps posting. I turned him into PayPal. I was like, you guys need to check
Oh,
this
good.
guy out. Like he keeps posting the same tickets over and over, and JP's kind of been. We've been trying to figure out, like, GP's like, maybe I can send him a virus, a computer virus or something.
There you go. Now we're talking.
I want my
But-
hearts back.
Give him a-
Yeah.
I sent you generosity.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's great again. Anytime, honestly. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And I don't know if you heard me say, I don't know if I actually said it or not, but I said your health tip of the month. I actually had that
Oh,
in the
okay.
notes.
Okay.
So
So like
Well-
once a month?
yeah, we'll check in and
Okay.
we'll see how you're feeling about the Lions and the Red Wings and
And Pistons.
the
Coming up.
Pistons coming
It's
up.
true. They're coming up.
They're
Kate
doing
said he's
better
100.
too. Yep. And he's put on some weight, I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah.
Of course, now we
mhm,
got
that's-
Dame Lillard in our division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
Jerks, dude. Freaking jerks.
No.
Giannis and Dame on this.
And Chris
I
Middleton.
did make a bet. I put a futures bet on the Pistons taking third in the division this year.
Huh.
Nice.
Sure, why not? I mean,
Interesting.
obviously it's gonna be obviously Milwaukee, and then probably Cleveland. But then after that, dude, we could be above Chicago. We could be
Yeah.
third.
We're
Right?
getting
Right?
better too.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Cade's
Yes.
healthy,
Oh, he's
Why not?
100.
Yeah. Yep.
He heard what you were saying about him.
what did I say about him?
You called him a bum, essentially.
Oh, really? A bum, dude? I'm counting on
called him
Cade.
Get rid of him, you said. A bust.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Okay.
Those are your words.
Yeah,
Roll
we
the
did.
tape.
We
Roll
were
the tape.
saying we were saying you need to put on weight.
Yeah, you did.
And then we were talking about the grandpas, Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer.
Oh, yeah.
Who are in the playoffs now.
It's true.
So-
Good for them.
Yeah. Great. So, all right. Well, thank you for coming on, and we will see you here in a few weeks. I'm gonna add in a new ending, my motivational quote of the week.
Okay.
All our dreams can come true. Have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney.
Oh.
Nice.
Have a good weekend.
Is that it? Oh. Sports Talk.